Hello and welcome to this, your Virgo August 2025 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. Well, very interesting deck this month. It's called Tarot Apocalypsis. It is full of mythical imagery from Egypt and Greece in the old days, which I don't think we're going to be able to spend much time on because I think there's a lot of messages already bouncing up, swirling around for you, and we want to make sure that we cover those rather than delve into the imagery of the artwork. Now, if you check out the description, you'll see that I provide clairvoyant readings wherever you may be in the world. And to make it clear, I charge for those. It's all set out. It's all very easy to understand. There is another thing, though, which I offer for free, wherever you may be in the world, and it's healing. Now, the gift of healing was provided to me at birth. And the healing comes through me and not from me, and where it comes from, well, you can probably put two and two together. But the duty that came with it is that I must provide it, and I do so happily, to anybody who happens to ask for it. So if this is talking to you, then check out the information in the description, and don't be shy, because so many people have taken advantage of it through this channel here. Now, there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and so you get to enjoy the experience uninterrupted. And let's see what there is for you now, shall we? And there is the Three of Wands. Here is Prince of Swords. Hello, Prince of Swords. Nine of Cups. Here is the Eight of Cups. Interesting, 8 and 9 of Cups. It's all well shuffled. And finally, what is there now? And it is the Queen of Swords. Very regal-looking lady there. So why don't you come sit down here next to me? I'll also bring the camera around so that everybody else can see the images on these cards while the energy whispers its messages to us, and I'll do the reading for you. What a fantastic and busy month for you. Great direction, wonderful love here. Look, I have to give you the shades as well as, and there's only one shade, as well as all the good things which are blowing this away, but I have to tell you about it. And it is this Eight of Cups standing down here, where there might be a period in the month where you feel as if there is some stagnation or an obstruction, an emotional blockage, a laziness. Something seems unclear. It's almost like you're walking through a swamp. Now here we see this woman dropping the last of her clothing. She's holding a torch, almost as if she's going down into Hades, and the other torches and lights are provided only by Persephone and Hades himself. Well, this is Saturn ruling the first decan of Pisces. Saturn, as you would know, is about structure, organization, discipline. It can be a heavy energy. And it's about responsibility as well. Now, Pisces, of course, is intuitive, spiritual, loves fantasy, and it's the poster child for the emotions. Well, it is as if Saturn has come along and completely deadened the water of Pisces. Saturn dominates and suffocates the joy of Pisces. And with this number 8 here, I have Mercury, which is a flighty planet. It's present here. So the overall influence resembles dark Saturn, with a feeling with you that there's no growth. Now, Mercury with this number 8 is also in detriment in Pisces, so there is a conflict here as well. The waters, I suppose, of your emotions for a moment, you might feel They just stand, not renewed by any spring. They begin to stagnate, and the mists rise to the sky and cloud the light of clarity. This situation speaks sometimes of you feeling that efforts are wasted here. I think you have already wasted enough of your energy on people who give nothing in return. You have filled them with your energy, but they are like bottomless barrels, and perhaps you will feel empty and sucked dry. I think this could also speak of an interpersonal situation in which the river of emotion has stagnated, and the more that you try to revitalize a relationship which has fallen into a rut, the more powerless and empty you might feel. And any attempt to re-energize the other person is just going to spread your energies further without really achieving any results. I think it's time for you to consider yourself and to set some limits and to say no. Now, it may be an old behavior pattern to always direct your love towards people from whom nothing comes in return. And this may be a sign indicating your fears of accepting love. Now, what people come to mind for you in this context? Are you ready to set limits and stand by them? In what situations do you hide your true feelings? You know, this isn't a religious exercise, but I am reminded of a verse from the book of Psalms in the Old Testament, Christian Old Testament thing. And it's Psalm 16, verse 5, which says, "The Lord is my allotted share and portion. You control my fate." Now, meditating on that verse, Psalm 16:5, you'll find that with every step you take and each moment that passes, you will feel comfort, confidence, and a stronger sense of direction. But look at what is the central energy of your spread here. It's this incredibly fortunate thing here. Well, this is a woman really in sheer luxury, isn't it? Being attended to by servants, probably back in ancient Rome. This is Jupiter in the second decan of Pisces this time. Now, Jupiter rules Pisces, so this is a very strong complementary energy. And Jupiter's philosophical approach, well, I think it sits well with Pisces spirituality. And Jupiter is also bringing you good luck and happiness here. And Jupiter's softer concerns, such as care, compassion, and the spiritual life, are beautifully expressed through sensitive Pisces. There is an enormous capacity to love, although, as is so often the case with this gift, it is often hard won through lots of difficult times in the past. But nevertheless, it's unmistakable that you are receiving a reward for your efforts. There's an abundance about you now. In some respect, your wishes are being granted. This is speaking of a very bright time and a very bright future. Now, those cups, I know I wasn't going to talk about the things, but I just can't help but notice that the cups are symmetrically arranged. All is harmonic and balanced. And there is here a sense of blessedness arising from total joy. And the quality of this joy shows that it is deeply rooted. It isn't the result of some superficial pleasure. Really, this is speaking of bliss, which derives its energy from the deepest reaches of a soul at peace. Now, This moment, I think for you, this month is filled with harmony and inner joy. So open yourself to it totally. Don't miss out. And ask yourself, where do you seek and where do you find true happiness? So just breathe and feel. If you are alone, enjoy your solitude. If you are together with others, enjoy their presence. If you have a job to do, do it with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm brings happiness. And say to yourself, happiness is my natural condition. Now, there's a particularly good and energetic direction that you're setting off onto here, and it is signified by this card here. Look, here is the sun at midday, and this young man here, really he's in the prime of his life, and he's learned from experience so that now he's wise. This is the sun in the second decan of Aries. Now that's fantastic because the sun is also exalted in Aries, and so this placement is actually very favorable for you. Here's the thing though, Aries enjoys a challenge, and Aries suns are happiest when your life is moving forward and is active. This is telling me that this is a time for you of integrity, honesty, self-confidence, and I don't think you'll be making any compromises. Your ideas are taking form. This is a confirmation that you are on the right path. I see work expanding around you. There could well be an inner awakening. Body, intellect, and spirit, they are all in harmony. And out of this state, an integrity crystallizes, which isn't going to permit any lazy compromises. You understand and allow your own free power, your own power, free play, never giving it over to someone else in an attitude of subjugation. But your center is also going to remain untouched. I really think that this is saying that you now are forming very clear ideas as to what direction to head in. Now, this is asking you also to understand your virtues and to trust yourself to make the right decisions and not to be held back by fear. See, this is looking inside and outside with integrity, honesty, and no compromises. I think it might be a good idea to just check the honesty and integrity of someone else that may well be an Aries. Do you know, it's important for you to operate from a place of integrity now before making any decisions at the moment, and have clarity of mind and heart before action in order to bring about the best result. And if you don't have clarity, don't act. But if you do, now definitely is the time to get going. So pay attention to your own point of internal stillness. Center yourself. Are there any reasons for self-doubt? There should not be. Do you yet doubt your unproven strength? Say this: I have the power and virtue to reflect, to know, and to head on to success and abundance. And then we get into a couple of these swords, which are, let's have a look at this. It's very interesting that he's riding this thing as if it's a chariot, but it looks like the bird is going where the bird wants to go and not where he wants it to go. Wow, I get a lot of Aquarius and Capricorn around here, you know. This is a time when you are going to be very intellectual, full of ideas and plans, very clever, but just make sure you don't become unstable. You might be domineering. Some people might find you elusive and hard to know. What's happening here is that there's a lot of creative thinking, cutting through of old entanglements and becoming free of limited ideas and morals. You'll have a clear perception now. Now this Prince of Swords, I think, well, he's bare-chested here. He is a master of creative ideas, thinking and planning. Now, a prerequisite for being able to think creatively is unrestricted freedom. The creative thought process can't tolerate being limited in any way. And I think that is why this prince is swinging his arms so far back to cut the connection with this bird. It's almost as if the bird is a symbol of confining ideas and feelings or limiting relationships, which might slow down his progress. But nevertheless, I think that this is a time where you will be very interested in thinking, questioning, even philosophizing. You'll be very good at creating ideas quickly, but the challenge is not to move on without developing them, because your intellect might also be draining to people around you who can't keep up with you. But don't go from one good idea to the next good idea to the next good idea without making something tangible. Now, it's possible that people might find you to be private and difficult to get to know. Maybe some people, and I can't believe this, but they might think that you are lacking in emotional warmth or empathy. I think this does indicate at some period here the need to slow down and analyze your thoughts to see if something practical can be gained. Now, this is saying that this is the time to free yourself from whatever limits your mind and spirit, and be sure you express your ideas and plans in ways that other people will understand. And if it's at all possible, accept their opinions humbly. Because, as I say, your thinking might just be well ahead of its time at the moment. But I do think that you'll be able to adjust things to make your vision workable in the present without sacrificing anything. But it does raise the question, though, of what beliefs, feelings, relationships, or programmed ideas do you allow to limit yourself? Say this: my creative possibilities have no limits, but they do need to be grounded. Now, this final card that we're getting to is dripping with Virgo this month. It's dripping with Virgo. I think Libra could also be important to you. Now, let's have a look. Presumably this is some Norse goddess, because this web that you can see here is the web of the weird, through which the fates of people, as regarding their individual lives and in connection with each other and in the connection with the universe, were all laid out until they were cut. This is a time of you being, I think, very graceful, very perceptive, very observant of other people. I think you will be intensely individualistic, but confident and gracious. You are going to set aside your masks. She is like she's wearing a mask, but I think that's coming off you. And you're going to give up the security offered by playing familiar roles, which are really, I suppose, a habitual defense mechanism with you, aren't they? And this sword here of penetrating insight is going to allow you to recognize that the masks you wear not only protect and camouflage, but they also separate you from yourself and others. Now, the energetic cutting through of your masks liberates you. And the Queen here leads you into your true self. Now, this is also saying unambiguously that you are going to be faced with a decision at this time about a person or a situation, and you need to use your brain, your mind, and not your heart to come to the decision. You see, things like compassion and empathy, well, they'll just distract you. So you must go with your head and not your heart. This isn't a time to beat around the bush about a situation. It's a time to decide and act. And cutting through old patterns and masks gives you the courage and the conviction to move forward. I think you're in the process of separating yourself more and more from old roles and behavior patterns this month. Now, this could bring some painful experiences with it, but it is worth it. The clarity you gain frees you. Now, which are the roles you most easily and most often hide behind? And are you ready to drop them? Look at yourself in your different roles. Now, some of them I think you'll continue to play, but now with more awareness. And you will play them until you no longer identify yourself with them. But understand this and say this to yourself: my only duty in life is to remain true to myself. I think that really wraps that up. What a fantastic spread of cards for you. Made so much better if you've been here. Well, I so enjoyed your company during that reading. And unless I see you in the meantime, either for a clairvoyant reading or for a healing, then I'll see you here again next month. And until then, remember one thing though, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.